I began last night by sharing from Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. The Bible said after God created the man, he said he blessed them. And he said, be fruitful. He said, multiply. He said, replenish. He said, subdue. And he said, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. And so if you are operating in the blessing, the first sign that you are blessed is fruitfulness. If you find a man who is blessed, the first sign you will notice is that anything he touches prospers. Because the word blessed means empowered to prosper. And if you begin to prosper, the first sign is that you begin to be fruitful. And when a man truly is blessed and he has grown in the blessing, he now enters dominion. So it's not enough to just be fruitful, it's enough to have dominion, to have sufficient influence where you can impose the government of God over a context. So when you come to a place, you don't just get blessed by reason of where you are. You enforce God's will in that place. And so you determine how things run there. That's the sign that you are truly fruitful. Because the completion of the cycle of fruitfulness is dominion. If a man has reached dominion, then that man is fruitful indeed. And I told us we were created and designed to be this way. That is the nature of our design. That's why after God created us, he gave the commandment to be fruitful and to have dominion. Because he created us, we cannot but be like that. I told you yesterday that when we were created, if we were created to be like angels and archangels, that would have been glorious enough. Because there are many spectacular angels that the Bible speaks of, and is replete in scripture. There are angels that men saw and fainted. There are angels that in one night killed 185,000 soldiers. There's an angel that the Bible said came into the earth. One of his foot covered the whole land, another covered the whole sea. When he shouted, 1/3 of all the birds died. That's the majesty that the angelic order commands. And so if God created us as an archangel or as archangels, that would have been glorious. But he went beyond the angelic order and he decided to create us like himself. Now, in creating us like himself, if he created us like the Son, that would have been glorious. If he created us like the Spirit, that would have been glorious. If he created us like the Father, that would have been glorious. But when he created us, he made us a summation of the Godhead. He said, let us make man in our. So man was created as a reflection of the totality of the divine. So we carry a dimension of the Word, we carry a dimension of the Spirit, and we carry a dimension of the Father. So we cannot but have dominion. Dominion is our birthright. It is part of the creation order. And so a Christian must understand this. Because if he doesn't, he will be living a life below what God has in view. And if you get to heaven, you must know. Because every one of us will be shown the fullness of our potential when we arrive there. And so whether you will be happy or disappointed is dependent on what you do now that you're on earth. This is why you cannot afford to live carelessly. It's not enough to be saved. It's enough when kingdom comes through you. So beyond being saved, your life must command kingdom. That's what makes your existence worthwhile. But this is not a gift. If it were a gift, everyone will walk in it. This is something you deliberately work on. You grow in it. If it were a gift, all of us here will be dominating. I mean, if all of us here were walking in the fullness of our potential, Nigeria would be too small for us. Only 12 disciples turned their walls upside down. So this is something you are deliberate about. This is something you work on, and this is something you become. And so yesterday I showed us that the first thing we must understand about fruitfulness is that capacities must be developed. Because the Bible said, although we have the potential of dominion because God commanded it into our spirit, but we must be willing and obedient. Isaiah 1:19 says, if you are willing and obedient, that's when you will eat of the good of the land. That's when you become productive. That's when you have dominion. And you cannot be obedient to nothing. You are obedient to a set of rules. You are obedient to lay down patterns. You are obedient to structures that are established. And I said the first thing you must know is that there are laws that govern fruitfulness. However, before we speak about that law, there's a need for capacity building. Because if you are small, no matter how fruitful you are, your fruitfulness will be small. The prosperity of an ant is not significant in the world of elephants. So size matter in this thing. So first of all, you have to be enlarged. Your capacity must be increased first